One of the most impactful moments on this trip for me was when we visited the Hector Pearson Museum. Hector Pearson was a young boy shot and killed during the 1976 Soweto uprising and peaceful protest by the children of his township. It caused the nation and the world to take notice of what was happening in South Africa. It reminded me that it was on the back of children that apartheid was broken in this nation. The emotions I felt entering the museum and reading the history of apartheid, resistance, and finally freedom were overwhelming. I was nearly brought to tears a number of times simply through the sheer disregard for humanity. But I felt two other emotions beyond sorrow: hope and pride. These students came to the point where they said enough is enough and gave everything to provide a better future for their brothers and sisters. The questions ring in my ear: what am I willing to do for God and for freedom? There's a quote along the lines of, we may have lost our lives here, but we push the fight for freedom forward. I know through this experience I'm going to do all in my power to do the same thing. We all must if we're ever going to create a better world.
I think one of the most powerful moments for me was when we were at St. Augustine's College, sitting in on a class that was talking about sexual violence and protest. I felt so encouraged to hear the female students talk about this issue, especially because St. Augustine's was in Johannesburg, which has been especially plagued by sexual violence and protests. And I feel like one of the most uplifting things about this experience was being able to understand how powerful the classroom is, how giving students the ability to talk about these issues and to voice their fears and their concerns can eventually empower them. And for the female students in that class, I hope that they use this class as a chance to strengthen each other and to support each other, and then to support the women in their own communities. And I feel like I've decided to write my senior thesis on this issue because of how empowered I was by what these women were saying in the classroom. So for me, student activism can be as simple as just being yourself and opening up and talking about your fears, and being brave enough to do that, because you never know who you're going to inspire just by being yourself. I know I've been inspired by the women that I met in Johannesburg.
I am also amazed at how many people live in this such a small area, but I'm also amazed the levels of poverty, how, you know, it's still like we've also seen, predominantly more well-off Africans here, as well as, seeing the other scale of the Africans. So that's also, it's shocking to see, but not really shocking, but it also makes me very, very grateful for everything, I have back at home, because, like my mother's always said, somebody out there has it a lot worse than you are. So, I'm grateful for the
One that is ingrained in not only my mind, but also my spirit, is a reminder that change comes through sacrifice and courage. This is the legacy of the young people who turned the anti-apartheid movement around. Change can come from anyone who is willing to stand for it, and more importantly, stand firm on the promises of God, even in the face of unfathomable adversity. I leave you with two quotes, one from the Hector Pearson Museum: "An individual life can change a society," and another from Scripture: a reminder that God has our back just like he had Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's so many years ago. Daniel 3:17. Our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace. So I implore you to make a stand for the world Christ sacrificed himself for today.